What's up, everybody? I just wanted to do a video today, the day after my powerlifting meet, my first powerlifting meet, the Nebraska, or the USAPL Nebraska States is what it was called. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, I did compete in my first powerlifting meet yesterday. I just kind of said that. I ended up totaling, I believe it was 1,195, so it was just shy of 1,200, which was kind of like a mini goal I guess I had set for myself. But as far as a meet, because I did do Bryce Lewis's online meet, and so I mean, as far as like an overall total, that was a PR for me, but I wanted 1,200, but I was still happy with that. So for the day, I went 8 for 9. The only lift that I missed was my last bench press. So I'll kind of talk about how some of the lifts went, and then basically towards the end of this video, or after I'm done talking, I'm just gonna kind of let like a few of the clips of me lifting roll, and we'll kind of go from there. So in the powerlifting meet, you start with squat, then you move on to bench, and then you have deadlift. So I don't know, I was extremely nervous for this meet. Obviously it's my first one, my first actual meet. I was extremely nervous. I was kind of overwhelmed at first, to be honest. I mean, I showed up to this, it's kind of like a tiny gymnasium, and we were so crammed in there that it was just like I don't know, like there's so many people in there that it was, I don't know, almost like humid, I guess is the right word. It was just very warm in there. And I don't know, I guess another reason I was overwhelmed is just the sheer amount of competitors that were actually there, which took me by surprise. I mean, there's all walks of life. I mean, I guess I didn't really realize how many women actually powerlift. There was probably at least one full flight of women, I do believe, if not like 1.5-ish. Anyway, I believe there was at least one full flight of just women lifters, so that was kind of cool to see that. But yeah, I mean, there was all walks of life there, old, young, whatever. I saw kids that were probably, there's no way they were older than like 13 or 14, but so I thought that was kind of cool. And then there was a bunch of other high school kids and stuff like that, and some elderly people. Of course, yeah, you have like your bench only people and stuff like that. But anyways, I was extremely nervous. I go out for my first squat. As I talked about before, I was going to be really conservative with it, just because of my knee. But so I opened up with it. When you do the conversions from kilograms to pounds, it doesn't come out perfectly. So it was just, I think it was just under 365. So it was like 364.3 or something like that. And I got that. It was, I don't know, it was, one thing I was really worried about actually was I knew that I was going to hit every squat. That wasn't a question. I knew that I was going to get depth. That wasn't a question to me. I was worried about like missing a command. And but anyways, I don't know, the first squat was like 364. Just extremely nervous. I started shaking as soon as I unracked the bar. And I almost turned into like a slow eccentric pause squat, basically. Which, I don't know, at least in powerlifting, or in the context of powerlifting, is not advantageous towards you getting a good lift or receiving a good lift from the judges, because the more time you give the judges to nitpick your form, as far as like on your descent, as far as squat, the more they're going to, I guess the more time they're going to have to actually look at that, instead of you dropping into the hole. I mean, I don't want to say like dive bombing the squat, but relatively fast. You want good speed. So because for me, I do kind of rely on a decent amount of a rebound effect out of the hole. So that was pretty off. It was just I mean, like, it wasn't like I was gonna fail lift. It was just, I made it way harder than it should have been. My next attempt was 385, I believe, something like that. I think. Yeah, it was 385. And another thing, Greg Ferris was there, and he was kind of giving me some pointers, about as far as like speed and stuff like that. So I really tried to, I really only tried to, I tried to have as many cues that I normally do in the gym on autopilot as possible. So I only had to think about so many things. And I really tried to just think about like one or two cues in my head while trying to remember that I need to listen to the commands. So I was just trying to listen to Greg, and he was just speed, speed, fast, fast. And that's not saying dive bomb into the hole, but go fast. And so I really tried to pay attention to that. Second attempt went a lot better. It was quicker. It flew up. So I made a larger jump than I originally had planned for my third attempt. I went up to, it was like, I believe it was 413 point something. I'm not sure the exact number. It was 413 though, so we'll just round down. And that was actually faster than the first two attempts, so that was pretty cool. Um, um, let's see. Then we moved on to bench. Opened up, again, pretty conservative. Something that I could always triple, even on my worst day. Opened up with 265, no big deal. Smoked it. Second attempt was 281, I believe. Again, smoked it. Wasn't anything that I've never done before. And then I jumped up to 303, which the most I've ever done in the gym was like 305, I want to say, and that wasn't with the pause. That was just touch and go. So I wanted to get something, I don't know, at least as close to 300 as I could. But in powerlifting meets, the lowest increment you can go up is 2.5 kilograms, and I don't think, maybe if I did the math again, I'm not sure, but in between the 295 one as far as kilograms and then the 303, I'm not sure if I would have been able. I don't know. I could look at the math again, but anyways, I don't know. 303 felt good coming off the chest. I got it about maybe a little bit more than halfway up, and the lockout just wasn't gonna happen. So a good thing though, Greg was spotting me, and to get out of the way of the judges, he walked to the side, and he was kind of talking to me afterwards. And from his standpoint, he said that it didn't really look like a form issue to me, which was, that was a plus for me. That just screams to me that it's just overall weakness, and I need to work on just tricep strength, chest strength, stuff like that. Explosion off. I had a good explosion off the chest. It's just I wasn't able to finish lockout, so that just screams to me that it's just overall weakness. That's why I missed the lift, but I don't know. I was happy. That was the only lift that I did miss. So moving on to deadlifts. My first attempt, I opened up with 446. That was pretty easy. I didn't actually receive 3 white lights on that one, and I didn't know that at first because I got the weight and I just dropped it and walked away. There's a bunch of lifters behind me, and they're talking to me. You need to come to a full lockout or full extension, as far as like your shoulders. And I guess on the first one, and when I look at it from a side angle, I didn't do that completely, so I could see that that's warranted. Second attempt was 474. Got that pretty easy, no big deal. Third attempt was 501. Again, got that. When I first started pulling that, actually, I was a little worried because I think I was leaning forward too far. I pulled the sumo stance, and I think that I've been, these past couple months, I guess, I've really been trying to set my hips higher, because I know in the past I wasn't setting them high enough, so I wasn't taking the tension or taking the slack, so to speak, out of the bar and like engaging fully, at least with my leverages, my hamstrings, and my glutes. So I was basically applying force to nothing until I actually got my hips to where they needed to be initially, which was negatively impacting my deadlift, obviously. So I was really trying to set them high, and I think I was leaning forward a little bit too far, and I didn't think I was going to be able to like pull it back into full lockout, but it worked out. It wasn't really that much of a grind, I don't think so. And when I look back at the footage, I don't know. Anyways, though, I'm pretty happy with that. Basically, if you qualified, I mean, they do have a number, but basically, if you set a total, you kind of sort of qualified for Raw Nationals. I've considered going to Raw Nationals. I think it's in Pennsylvania, like Scranton or something like that. But I don't know. Not really sure. Overall, though, I was pretty happy with the experience. Um, I don't know. I'm not like a crazy socialite type of person, so it was kind of different being in an environment surrounded by people. I mean, there's well over 200. There's probably at least 200, 250 people in this place um, at any given time, and so I don't know. It was kind of cool. I mean, just the environment being there. My really good friend Adan actually drove down at 5 in the morning with me, so thank you, sir. It was really cool meeting Greg Ferris, and there was another kid in Greg's class. I don't remember his last name, but his first name was Ferdinand. And I'm gonna throw up a picture in here somewhere. We got a picture together. He was really cool. He actually won Greg's class. Greg was in the 83 kilogram class. This kid is unreal, by the way. He's 83 kg. Didn't have a belt. Doesn't use stimulants. Um, just a monster. I mean, he destroyed 295 on the bench press. I mean, like the speed was just unreal. Double overhand hook gripped. Well, I guess I should just say hook grips. Um, for his deadlifts. He just kind of like YOLO attempted his third attempt basically, and that was the definition of a grind. I really wish I would have got that on video because that was one of the coolest deadlifts I've ever seen. Just from the moment he broke the weight from the ground, just a grind to the top. And like I said, he doesn't use a belt, and I was like, dude, if you get a belt, I mean, Greg and I were kind of talking to him about it. We're like, dude, if you get a belt, 600 is in your near future. But anyways, I don't know. It was really cool. I met some cool people. Um, I don't know. Overall, I think it was a good experience. So maybe I'll kind of do another video, kind of explaining like how a powerlifting meet goes, or how it's run for those that don't know, or some things to expect that I didn't really expect. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See ya.